Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's debate. I am Diya Nandwani and I'll be hosting and judging today's round. The motion for today is this house believes that the rise of AI poses a greater economic threat than a technological benefit. So, let's begin. Everyone knows the rules and the format. So, I'll explain it again. So just a sec, guys. Just a sec. Sorry for the interruption. So I would like to know that each speaker will get 4 minutes to present their arguments, or it's divided. So everyone knows the format. After all the speeches, each side will get a chance for a rebuttal. Please stay muted unless it's your turn to speak and no interruptions, please. So, on the proposition,
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm
on
audible,
the
right?
propo-
Yes.
yes, yes. On the proposition, we have Pranad, Mohit, and Sayan. And for the opposition, we have Rajveer and Taha. So, let's start with the speeches. We will start with the proposition. I invite proposition speaker one to start.
Yes,
Pranad,
ma'am.
please start.
Yes, ma'am. I'm audible, right? Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Ma'am,
Continue.
I'll be starting on my self count of three, two, one. Ma'am, we need to understand right on the burden itself of this motion itself, right? The thing which we are going to speak about today is not just some fancy concept or something written in the newspaper. The burden is very simple, ma'am, and very clear. First, it is economic loss. Second, it is job displacement. We need to understand, ma'am, all of this debate should be focused upon this rather than going into different aspects and different branches, right? Branches, right? Now, ma'am, talking about job displacement itself, the United Nations has come up with a report, the Gender Snapshot 2025. And what did that report say, ma'am? The report says that nearly 28% of jobs held by women globally are at risk of being replaced by the artificial intelligence, also known as AI, which we are debating upon. Compare that, ma'am, with only 21% for men. And the International Monetary Fund, ma'am, they themselves say that approximately 40% of jobs around the world could be affected by artificial intelligence. In advanced economics like America and Europe, ma'am, this numbers goes up to 60% of jobs. Now, ma'am, these are not our words. These are the words by the UN, the United Nations, and the International Monetary Fund itself, right? Now, ma'am, let us come to the economic loss that we are seeing right now. The opposition will talk about how AI creates jobs and brings benefits. But, ma'am, what we are seeing in the real world right now, Amazon cut off 14,000 corporate jobs in October 2025 alone. And they said that they are increasing spending more on artificial intelligence. Microsoft cut 7,000 jobs. Salesforce cut 4,000 jobs. Consultancy services cut 12,000 jobs. And ma'am, these are not small companies. These are companies that everyone knows and trusts. These companies are saying themselves that they are doing this to focus on AI. Now, ma'am, one more thing which we need to understand, the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025 itself admitted that 92 million jobs will be displaced by 2030. Now, ma'am, the opposition will argue that 170 million jobs will be created, right? But, ma'am, let us understand this logic itself. First, these new jobs require new skills that workers don't have right now. Second, ma'am, these jobs will be mostly for people who already have education and money to get retrained. Third, ma'am, 92 million people are being displaced, which means 92 million people are losing their salary, their food, their life, their security right now. You cannot tell them to wait for 5 years more while new jobs are created somewhere else, right? Now, ma'am, one more surprising fact that opposition may not know. According to the IMF itself, in advanced economies like America, about half of the jobs that will be affected by AI will benefit from it, right? But, ma'am, other half, the other 30% of jobs in advanced companies, advanced economies, AI applications will execute the key tasks and and will lower labor demand. This means, ma'am, that even if some jobs get benefits, many jobs will simply disappear. Wages will go down, people will have less money to feed their families, right? Now, ma'am, again, the World Economic Forum also said something very important. They said that 92 million jobs will be displaced, but ma'am, they did not see where these new 170 million jobs will be. They did not see if these jobs will have the same salary. They did not see if the workers will be ready for these new jobs. This is a very big blunder in the opposition's argument itself. They are looking only at the numbers on paper, not the real people, not the real families, not the real food on the table itself, right? Now, ma'am, one last thing, the IMF chief herself, she said that AI will likely worsen overall inequality. Now, ma'am, this is very important, which we need to understand. The opposition will say that AI brings benefits, but ma'am, the IMF itself is saying that the AI will make poor people more poorer and rich people richer. So, ma'am, the economic threat is not just job loss; it is also widening the gap between rich and poor. It also has the social unrest that will come up when millions of people have no job and no hope. Therefore, ma'am, the motion is not just about economics; it is about the future of billions of workers around the world. And the facts, the real world facts from the UN, from the IMF, from companies themselves, all point to one thing: the economic threat of AI is greater than technological benefit than it brings. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Opposition, you can go ahead.
Yes. So I will start on the cell count of 3, 2, and 1. Artificial intelligence is not an economic threat, but an economically significant force that strengthens productivity, reduces costs, and creates new opportunities across industries. And this is supported by authoritative global resources such as the PwC Global Artificial Intelligence Study, which projects AI could contribute $15.7 trillion to the world economy by 2030. And the World Economic Forum's blueprint for intelligent economies, which identifies AI as the fuel of the fourth industrial revolution. So, in this case, the argument of proposition is mainly baseless, because in this case AI is helping to not just reduce jobs but also increase jobs in various sectors like Microsoft and TCS. In this case, they are helping for better future, and this is also helping in better innovation. In even in TCS, the manager itself mentioned that AI is helping them for many good solutions. Now, if you can see, there are many antivirus protections across the world, which also reduces hacking, due to which even AI is very useful. And even the World Economic Forum's blueprint for intelligent economies, which identifies AI as the fuel of the fourth industrial revolution, driving inclusive prosperity, innovation, and sustainable development. In India, the Niti Aayog report for AI for Viksit Bharat estimates that accelerated AI adoption could add $500 to $6 billion to India's GDP by 2035, providing its transformative national impact. These findings confirm that AI is not only a technological advancement but also a stabilizer of economic resilience. Its practical uses: fraud detection in finance, predictive maintenance in manufacturing, precision farming in agriculture, personalized learning in education, and early disease detection in healthcare, prove that AI expands employment, raises living standards, and ensures long-term prosperity. So in this case, proposition's argument is totally baseless, because it is giving new works to many people, increasing the data of GDP in many countries, including the African region. AI expands employment, raises living standards, and ensures long term prosperity with reskilling initiatives, adapted government policies, inclusive adoption strategies, and international cooperation. Societies can harness AI responsibly, making it both economically significant and a power catalyst for sustainable progress. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, the next person can go ahead.
Okay.
Please remember the time limit.
I know it's 2 minutes. So I'm going to do a self count. 3, 2, 1. Wait 1 second. Again, I'm going to do a self count. 3, 2, 1. Honorable judges, esteemed member of the House, the opposition presents an overall optimization view of AI, but their arguments overlook the core economic realities we face today. They highlight AI's ability to increase productivity and create new jobs. However, increased productivity does not automatically translate to improved conditions for workers. In practice, companies adopt AI to reduce labor costs, meaning large segments of the workforce are displayed rather than supported. The new roles AI generates require specialized knowledge, leaving the majority of displaced workers unable to transition effectively. The opposition also suggests that governments can regulate AI, but this assumption underestimates the speed at which the technology advances. Regulatory systems, regulatory systems move slowly by nature while AI develops rapidly and continuously. This gap creates a scenario where policies always remain one step behind, allowing economic disruptions to occur before intervention is possible. Regulation, therefore, is not the safety net the opposition portrays. Furthermore, they argue that AI benefits small businesses, yet the evidence shows that the greatest advantages go to the large corporations with significant resources and access to data. These companies strengthen their market positions, leading to greater concentration of economic power. Small businesses become dependent on external AI platforms rather than gaining genuine independence or competitiveness. Finally, the opposition's claims about long term gains ignore the immediate large scale economic risks that AI poses. Thank you.
Opposition, you can go ahead.
All right, I'll start at a self count of three, two, one. So, after I've heard the proposition speeches, what this reminds me most of is when the 21st century was approaching, and people started getting scared and always screaming that the planes are going to fall out of the sky because the computers are going to go haywire. The the proposition uses a classic method of emotional manipulation known as fear mongering. But I'll share three more points that are data backed, which most likely contradict what these guys are saying. So, first of all, when AI substitutes routine labor, firms often see a significant increase in productivity, allowing them to produce more and better quality output. It then hereby raises value added, such as seen by this report by the OECD in 2024. It treats AI as a general purpose technology and shows evidence that it has potential to revive sluggish productivity growth economy wide. By rep- and Now, second, when you replace rote or formulaic work, it's even shown that AI reduces the things that clog up our lives. AI frees up the human capacity in a way that accelerates innovation. It allows us to think and not be part of a sluggish routine, such as in this research report made by Eden Toner Rogers, also in 2024, showed an R&D lab setting, researchers used AI discovered four, sorry, using AI discovered 44% more new materials, filed 39% more patents, and saw a 17% increase in downstream innovation. Now, the proposition argues that job displacement is really high in essence, but they assume and they forget to assume that most innovations do cause job disruptions. Didn't the internet, the computers cause job disruptions? Now, are you going to say the same thing for computers? Yet you are still using computers, and it has raised the economy and helped create so many jobs. You you want and just imagine the like. Let me just give you an example of the companies, individuals, and countries that refuse to adopt similar innovations such as computers, electricity, and an internet. They faced far larger economic losses than if they had just adopted it. In this case, AI firms get competitive advantages. Workers bifurcate into those who can use AI or those who can't. And the cost is the massive opportunity loss and the systemic disadvantage that comes from being the slower, less productive, less innovative person in the world that runs on an AI accelerated innovation cycle. I'm sure nobody wants to be that guy. Thank you.
Okay. So, proposition team, can you just give your conclusion?